See. All right, so we are live. All right, welcome to the Black History Month open mic. We have Zomkhonto and possibly AJ Houston featuring tonight. And we're going to do an open mic. We're going to have our people who have signed up go first, and then we'll have our first feature. We'll see what happens as people trickle into the room. Throughout the night, after each poet, I will give a Black History Month fact, either well-known or little-known, depending on what your knowledge is. And we're just celebrating Black history. You don't have to read a poem on Black history necessarily. If you have it, you got it, share it. But that's definitely not required for you to share tonight, all right? So I will start us off with a poem for Black history, and I might mess it up, but I've been trying to memorize this. All right, Marianne, I got you on the list. So let's see. And some of you may have heard this before. I've never considered myself a love poet. They say they never relate to my love poems anyway. Say they prefer I recite poems about being Black. I say, but ain't that the same? Ain't Black joy a love of its own? Ain't I proof that love exists when it isn't meant to? My folks didn't love each other. My pops had something to prove. Thank God they don't make closets the way they used to. My mom dropped me off and went chasing demons, and as sure as I'm standing here today, I wouldn't take none of it back. I am still Black. Black means strength and culture, setting trends and breaking barriers. Never let the skin make me feel inferior. We are cookout and house party. Sorry. Cookout and see, trying to memorize it, getting it. I'm bad at memorizing. Can't yes, okay. It's coming back. Electric slide and Cupid shuffle. Don't let them equate your Black with struggle. I have seen the way we come together when the world tears us apart. Bullet wound turned family reunion. Traffic stop turned potluck. Can't say we ain't resilient. Can't say we don't find the rhythm in anything. We always find a reason to sing. We'll two-step to a heartbeat if it means we're alive. And if that, and if that ain't love, then why? All right, so those are the vibes that we are trying to uphold today, get through. Good vibes, good blessings, positive energy. Our first Black History Month fact is that prior to Rosa Parks, I don't have it pulled up, prior to Rosa Parks, there was actually another member of the Black community who protested the bus laws, and her name was Claudette Colvin. Yes. She was a 17-year-old who refused to give up her seat on the bus. However, they did not back her. The NAACP and other members did not back her because she was an unwed teenage mother. And they thought it would be a bad image for the movement. So they waited a little bit longer and waited for Rosa Parks to essentially do the same act before the movement got behind it. Yes, ma'am.
I just talked to AJ on the phone. He said, send him the link and he'll be there in 2 minutes.
Can you tell him that I sent him the link on Instagram? Okay. I don't know how else to send it to him.
All right.
All right, thank you. But yeah, and Claudette Colvin is someone that I didn't learn about in school. I learned that outside of school, so I thought it would be great to talk about her. But there, and yes, there are several members of the civil rights movement that were not highlighted, which we will get into in between poems. So I will throw the list in the chat, but up first, we've got the Beanie God herself, Lizzie Strauss, going to share some blessings with us. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Shocking. I like your beanie. So beanie blessings to everyone and you, and happy Black History Month. I'm very happy to be here and supporting our features and everyone in the room. I'm going to read two pieces. And the first one is called Selma because I'm Jewish, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, that Jews did march alongside African Americans. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. We walked arm in arm to tear down the oppressors. We are still fighting the fight, crying the tears, walking the bridges that may never get, because if we stop, they will win. And then I'm going to read one more poem. It's titled, I Do Not Need to Be Translated. I hate that I must continue to spell out my identity for those who I know never want to change. I hate that I cannot be 100% comfortable in me, Jewish, female, non-binary, queer, because they cannot be 100% comfortable in themselves. I can make images and throw myself center stage, but in 2023, why do we still care about my specific labels and not my values? I'm not speaking a language society is unfamiliar with when I talk about myself. You are not speaking in tongues I cannot understand when you talk about yourself. But when you refuse to accept my lifestyle, my truths, my biology, me, why do you expect me to translate for you? I survive by my own vocabulary, but must walk around with your hatred punctuating me. Thank you.
Yes. Hatred, punctuating, definitely. And yes, you guys have 5 minutes to read, or 2 pieces, whichever comes first. So use it wisely. Obviously, I don't have a cane or anything. I'm not going to pull you off if you don't get there, but just be considerate of other people. Don't make yourself the star of the show. All right. So our next Black History fact. Most of the I should pull some up and stop trying to go off my mind, huh? We've already found out that my mind's not that great. So we all know Martin Luther King Jr. and the acts that he did during the civil rights movement. However, a lot of his acts were orchestrated, were signed on by Bayard Rustin, who was actually a gay Black man. But again, he was not allowed to be the face of the civil rights movement because he was gay. So he actually was the one behind Martin Luther King. He would write some of his works, come up with some of the plans that he had to kind of work out, marching on Selma, things like that. All behind a gay Black man, which I thought was interesting. Both of them amazing men, not saying anything about either of them, but yeah, another fun fact. So up next, we got the queen herself, Jane Spoken Word.
Gosh. Thanks for having me, show.
Make some noise for her.
All right, you guys, you ready? Here we go. Winter has come to America. I turned on, tuned in, and dropped out in the 60s. You can call me a freak, but don't call me a hippie. I spent the summer of love getting stoned and dropping acid, and I protested a war that lasted and lasted. Released from the confines of society, brothers and sisters stood collectively for equality and dignity, because we know. We demanded an end to war. Hell no, we won't go. We demanded civil rights and equal opportunity. We marched for all of humanity. The music of my time spoke truth to power. Grooving the slide, the family took us higher. And RESPECT demanded Miss Aretha, Queen of Soul, while Eve of Destruction sang dark truths untold. And while Dylan Warren were just a pawn in their game, by any means necessary, Malcolm X did proclaim. And I'm black and I'm proud, testified James Brown, as Jimmy lamented, why'd you burn your brother's house down? And as Marvin sang, mercy me, when will it end? John Lennon pleaded, give peace a chance. And float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, rhyme the greatest of all time, my hero, Muhammad Ali. We were a social movement, youth on the rise, in a war for equality and respect for all lives. The women's movement defined our objectives. Feminist ideologies demanded equality of sexes. The Latino movement of United Farmers Workers Unions improved farmers' pay and working conditions. The Chicano movement organized students' education, not eradication, brought basic school improvements. The Black Arts movement used art as a weapon. The Black Power movement championed pride and freedom. Angela Davis, Eartha Catwoman Kit, Nichelle Uhura Nichols, Tommy Smith, John Carlos, Nina Simone, and still idiocracy reigns. If you are other in America, do you do time every day? If you are other in America, is it a squeeze play? Living your life on an everyday beat, always on guard, avoiding white heat? Winter has come to America. We have been trumped. Whitey is blindly stumbling through life, feasting on Fox, feeding his white. He's scared. He's scared. Scared you'll take his guns, his God, his whiteness. And so he hides his fright in distorted righteousness. Marching with tikis is a frightening aberration. Rivers of blood stain our dawn with damnation. What happens to one happens to us all. Like dominoes, we all will fall. Silence is death. Peace, yo.
Yes, yes, silence is death. Did you have another piece you wanted to read or just the one?
I got a short piece.
Okay.
All right, cool. This one is called I Exist. I exist. So fucking fragile. So empty. So small. I disappear in pain. I recede from it all. Stifling cries through tear-blinded eyes. Pen flowing bars of ache, blister words and scorch the page. Plummeting out of my dream, suffocating my scream. Hunted and pursued, storming my sea of solitude. Swimming through dead seas in wounded heavens, gasping for breath and decompression. Slipping into darkness ever so heartless, the sun in cruel response will not penetrate my despair. No morning smile whispers in my ear. Steam rising from morning's coffee cup, chasing time on a backwards clock. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Has agony erased my beauty? Will I die with a smile on my final exile? Peace. Thank you so much for listening, y'all.
Thank you for sharing. JSW, Jane Spoken Word, always powerful. Thank you, thank you. We AJ Houston joined. I told you guys he was on CP time. We was gonna get him eventually. All right. So next Black History Month fact. We all know who Toni Morrison is. Beautiful writer, novelist, and nowadays her name comes up a lot. But what we didn't know is that most of her works, including Beloved, Song of Solomon, Bluest Eye, are actually banned in several countries. surprise, and parts of the United States. So, yes, may her memory be a blessing. All righty, so next on the list, and if you joined, you know, Semi Rain, Darkman Blues, if you want to get on the list, just let me know. Put it in the chat and we'll get you on there. Up next, we have D. Allen. We got both of our features in the room, so after our next two people, we will have them go. I'm just going to go by who was in the room first, so it will be Zomkhonto, unless AJ has something going on and has to leave. But for now, give it up to D. Allen. Do you need the screen, D?
Yes, I need the share screen feature activated, please.
All right. There you go.
Two new poems for tonight, both pertaining to American Black history. First one is called Subtracted, from the English online literary magazine Culture Matters. And whoever is unmuted, I'd appreciate it if you mute yourself while I'm performing. I wouldn't do that to you. Thank you. Subtracted. Sisters aren't valued in this world of ours. Seen nowhere on the streets, not the hospitals, malls, or bars, because they're missing, subtracted from the city, head count cut down in size. Sisters aren't respected in this world of ours, yet their kin are fraught with worry. Long absence digs in the scars because they're missing, subtracted from the city. Head count fell before our eyes. Sisters, mothers, aunties, lovers, our hearts snatched up suddenly. Sisters, mothers, aunties, lovers, our hearts. Police won't help. Where could they be? And that first poem was called Subtracted, written in response to the Black women missing and murdered in Kansas City, Missouri. And the last one is called Overcome. Try as devils might to change the look of the big picture, passing itself off as a democracy, they can't remove us all. For the longest time, they've used abandonment, brutality, criminalization, displacement, enslavement, force-fed false history, gentrification, harassment, intoxication, jokes told, spite in disguise. Ku Klux Flaming Cross night rides, lust toward our women, toward our girls and women, mass murder, negation of our views or police intimidation, Queen's African beauty devalued, religion, Christianity passed down by pilgrims, sterilization, terrorism, unity broken, vicious discrimination, white imperialism, exile, credit for our contributions, youth killed before age 25, Z, last letter, last considered, first targeted. All the tricks implemented on us, and yet our people are still mating, our women are still breeding, our people are still here, our culture is still here. We have overcome endeavors by devils to whittle our number to nothing. We have overcome. It's been a long, arduous walk on the road to progress, reacting to muscle memory, repeatedly hurtling over obstacles we didn't design over time. We look forward to thriving the next 400 years and what they may bring. We look forward to days of joy, seeking pleasure we deserve. Not to forget about oppression, but to surmount oppression before it regains ground to conquer spirit by having the best time of our lives. Be loud, be lively, be talented, because they can't silence us all. We have overcome, and whenever possible, we'll do it again.
Damn
And
right
that
we will.
last poem was called Overcome. For Raul James, Lantern Carrier, his birthday's today, by the way.
Mhm.
Sifongo, Zomkhonto, Elemental, Midnight Rose Gold, Stacey Artist Dyson, and English poet and activist Zeta Holborn. Overcome. From this mic to your ears, I'm D. Allen. Thanks for listening. Every month is Black History Month.
Let them know. Every day is Black History. Everything we do, Black History. All right, so our next fact about the Black Panther Party. They started doing neighborhood breakfast and lunch for the children, youth in their area, and feeding them for free. I can go into a lot of information on this one. Listen, J. Edgar Hoover, that bastard. Oh my God. But because of J. Edgar Hoover, they would raid the breakfasts and destroy the food in front of the kids, so the kids would think that it was something bad, and not let the kids eat. But the forced raids eventually made it illegal for them to continue the free breakfast program. However, the USDA noticed how efficient it was, and that is where the free breakfast program comes in schools now. How children get free breakfast. So definitely look into that. There's a lot with the Black Panther Party and J. Edgar Hoover and a lot of our civil activists, the things that he did. Again, knowledge is power. So look into that. All righty. So going on our list, I have Marianne.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm really pleased to join you this evening. My name is Marianne Teft. I'm a Canadian poet who has been living on the Dutch Caribbean island of St. Martin for 20 years. And I'd like to share with you a couple of pieces that are connected with the island of St. Martin. The first of them was written on the occasion of a Moko Jumbi Fest last summer, and it's called Osuna. Legs outstretched, arms akimbo, Osuna strides through the village, as she has from the dawn of time in the beginning place. When she hears the djembe drums, her heart beats with pride as she remembers the salt spray against her face, the ocean's tears that could not quench her thirst, even as two strong arms bore her to the new world, where she stands resilient, tall as the tamarind tree, provoked by centuries of storms, brighter than the moonlit night, rising above the darkness of the land and the secret hearts. Moko Jumbi pours forth her guardian light. The second piece is called Wedding Day. I had the opportunity to write a piece. I was invited to write a piece for a Dutch anthology. St. Martin is part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, and the anthology will commemorate the 160th anniversary of the abolition of slavery in the Kingdom of the Netherlands this summer. We were asked to write about a particular rite, indeed, R-I-T-E, and I chose Wedding Day. I do not long for a white dress, lace sewn in pretty webs by spidery hands that squinted into cold dawn as they worked the needle. That is reserved for Mistress Alice. I do not crave a gold band to shine like my husband's eyes, even on moonless night? For I have worn a yellow bracelet that bound my body to another man, and it clings to my bones. But when the sun sets, old Tom and Treetop will hold the broom as I jump, but my father will not greet me in the headband and breastplate of skin handed down to him from his grandfather, and I will not smile with secret pride that the family of my husband offers so many brown and red cows for me. I will take my spoon and pumpkin seeds spared from the vine last summer and move into my husband's cabin with the Orishas who guarded my birth, but not with the God they want us to think will ease our pain when we die. And I will bring to him all the love I have, and tonight, and tonight, and tonight, I will be his bride. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, if you don't have an audiobook out already, that's in your future. Okay, you got that real. You should be on the Calm app. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your support. I really appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be here with you tonight.
Thank you. All right, so our next Black History Month fact, just another one that I can go on for days about. But we were taught, at least I was taught as a child, we tend to idolize Abraham Lincoln for his emancipation of slaves. I need to let y'all know that man, that does not mean he liked us. His intention for the Emancipation Proclamation was actually that after the slaves were freed, that they would all go back to Africa. He did not believe that they would stay in America and that they were equal to white Americans. So a lot of people get that confused and they're just like, oh, Abe Lincoln, you know, he liked the blacks, he freed them. That was not his intention. He had financial reasons for doing that as well, because of how it was crippling the North, between how slavery affected money in the South. So that's my rant. I won't continue on about it. But all right. So lastly, we got Mama Betty reading, and then we'll get into our features.
So, hi you guys again. I wrote these poems to impromptu. The first one is after the empire. Can you guys hear me clearly?
Loud and clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we can.
Okay, that's all proven. Standing in the door jamb of a nation as earth moves underneath my feet. Shifting plates, disturbing mountains, rivers running up, oceans thrown up, centuries, all that is fallen, all that is ingested, skyscrapers, corporate-themed stadiums, modern-day leaning towers of pieces, White House, Kremlin, drowning with a gang of international cohorts in the raging waters of contemptuous competition to overrule a world. Empires falling, crumbling, dissipating as we, the people, hover in door jams of structures unsound, trying our best with paper masks to keep the dust of contamination from entering our mouths. But it's difficult to breathe and to see as we are blinded by propaganda of false advertisement of security as empires bargain lives away, all for the sake of economic dictatorship, one nation wielding selfish domination of all others. But alas, greeds fill stomachs like boulders tied to pirates' feet, and empires fall, sinking into deep, odious waters. Do you not smell the stench of democracy mold as his head bobs up and down, comes up for air for a third time, coughing, hacking, begging for a second chance, unaware how much longer shoulders will endure the weight of this world. That's it. I'm sorry. That's the last of it. That's my poem. And this is another one I wrote to impromptu. It's called Fingerprints. And this is homage to my mother. Since this is Black History Month, here we go. I went back in time when my mother was young. My older sibling, I went back in time when my mother was young and I was not born. Yea, neither even my oldest siblings. It was one night in a month in 1941. My mom could dance. She had moves in the most calming spirit. Regal was she. But in her veins was so much soul, fires of African ritual dance converged in her feet. The music she danced to that night was a foreshadowing poetic rhythms that would pulsate, flow in lungs jumping with joy soon one day. Today, I step back, re-entering the realm of my reality, and I know now the music she danced to that night in a month in the year 1941 was a poem you wrote, you recited. It has flowed from rivers of blood down through a generation to converge, not only in my feet, but in my soul. Thank you, Mama, for the dance. And thank you, poet, for your song, One Love. That's that poem.
Yes, Mama Betty, thank you.
That was clear. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for sharing. All right, another Black History Month fact, which is just me ranting again. So the topic of reparations comes up a lot, and they think, well, you know, it's so far removed. What's the reason for reparations? And I ask you, my fact is about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and other communities like it, like Black Wall Street. And what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, was a man was accused of a crime. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember. I believe it was assaulting a woman, but it didn't actually happen. And as a result, white supremacists took on the town, basically burnt it to the ground. And the military, the United States military, helped them do this. And when these things happen, you know, they had their own banks. You know, a Black neighborhood had their own banks, had their own pharmacies, their own businesses. And you know, AJ had said the other day, I'm stealing this from him, you know, what if the burger shop they had, what if that were still around? That could have been the first McDonald's, right? That bank, they could have been the next JP Morgan, right? But it all got burned down. And this is familiar wealth that could have been brought down as well. And these are families that are not getting that. So when people ask about reparations, you got to think about that. These actions affected bloodlines long down the way. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. But yeah, and that happened in multiple neighborhoods. A lot of those areas are now what's known as sundown towns. So they were so discarded that Blacks were no longer safe there. So they never actually went back. And they're like little utopias as of now. So, all right. Marissa threw her hand in the pot, so we're going to throw one more person on. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm not sorry to listen to Marissa read. Always powerful. So let's hear from our matriarch.
Yeah, D. Allen asked me if I was to read tonight, so I was like, sure, okay, I'll read. Do you guys want one poem or two, or one and a half? Shut. Two. Miss Betty says two. She's flipping me the finger. She says two. All right. So this is some new shit. I don't remember where I wrote this poem. I know it's really bad to say, but it was recently in a workshop. If it was one of my guys in one of your workshops, let me know, please. I'm sorry if I can't credit you. I just don't remember. I am a tree house because I am I am an unnatural home that tends to shelter broken men who long for their childhood back. I am a tree house because I have been chopped down, reworked, repurposed, recycled to realize my old life did not make sense, while so many were homeless and I was still so empty. I have a floor and walls and pretend windows, a roof that is barely shade, a light to climb work, a levee lift to raise up blessings, some carpet, some tapes, and a makeshift broom for us we make. The only perfect time to be inside me is never, because the nights are cold and my days are hot, and weather is, well, it's New Mexico. Many creatures create their place here too. So be ready to share with what you can't see. I am a treehouse because I was built for happiness, dreams, the idea that one day we will reach ourselves free. And since it's Black History Month, yeah, I'm going to read Spuds because, and here, I'll even take my camera off so that I know I'm lagging a little. Hopefully it'll make my audio come in better. This poem was written based on the Idaho murders that happened at the end of 2022. Do you know why I pulled you over? The story of two white men driving cross country from Idaho pulled over twice. There was no suspicion or threat or search or questions asked, no follow through, no investigation, no license and registration, no get out of the vehicle, no mace, no tasers, no knees, no guns, no search and destroy, no why are you driving the opposite direction across multiple states when you're supposed to be in school? Just two white Mr. Potato Heads, well-spoken, affluent academics, no smells of anything except the innocence of four decaying collegiate corpses and their dust he brutally slaughtered back in Idaho just days ago. Can we please get the same suspect and search bullshit for these single white male loner slaughterhouse self-righteous psychopaths? Like please, like already, like I beg you, like yesterday, like back in the Bundy, Dahmer, Gacy, Berkowitz, BTK days. What if they had received the same service Black men do when pulled over? Would he have even made it to the state line alive? Crime scene, nothing to see here, no cell phones recording, or chalk outlines on a highway where no one would see the killing of another Black man. So, mass murder. Go free. Be free. Released into the white wild of privilege. Step right up. White mass murders. Free pass across the country. Last call for white killers to flee. Safety guaranteed. Like, where is the BET brigade of the FBI? Can I please buy a vowel to the School of Intelligence? Can we start panning stage left to what's left of common sense that's not fucking racist? Didn't they see the blood on his hands? The innocent souls in his teeth? Or was it whitewashed in the bleached pigment of his skin when the girls looked into his eyes and saw themselves? I wonder how much his father knew, expediting his kin cross country. How depleted the truth can be when there's no Black man to yell gun at, execute on the spot, at, call the killer, call the culprit, call guilty, call it in. It's another win for the good guys with guns, right? So, hey man, don't follow so close next time. Watch your speed and have a good day. Poem. Thank you.
Marissa, always with the hard hitters. Thank you. Thank you. All right. My next Black History Month fact. This is something I recently learned about. So if it's not true, just fight me. But in remembering that Black history is not only American history, the diaspora is very large. There is I want to call it a city. I don't think it's a city though. A town in South Africa named, I'm going to butcher it, Orania, that is whites only. Blacks are not allowed to work there, live there, travel there. And it's basically the last outpost after the apartheid. And surprisingly, the government has just kind of ignored them, even though they say they don't agree with their beliefs. Which I thought that was interesting. They have their own currency. They don't even use the same currency as the rest of the country or countries. I was reading the story. It's really mind blowing. And if race were not an issue, I think that the community, and again, this goes back to the communities like Black Wall Street, and others, when you see them kind of build on their own, how they're able to be sustainable on their own, like, why can't we do that, right? Like, why can't we make our own outposts, have our own currency, have our own, aside from white supremacy. But yeah, so that being said, we are going to get into our first feature of the night. Zomkhonto, I'm sorry. Mbonisi Zikali was born in Makokoba in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. If I butcher it, I'm sorry. His spoken word storytelling name is Zomkhonto, which happens to be his bloodline's totem. He's a spoken word artist, storyteller, arts educator, youth mentor, qualified community services worker, grassroots community organizer, and mental wellness advocate. He considers himself an Afro empath and is driven to ensure that people find joy in healing and the power of words and storytelling. Some of the recent publications he has appeared in include Writer's Space Africa, Literary Magazine, December 2022, winner of Off Topic Publishing's August 2022 Poetry Contest, Best New African Poets 2019 Anthology by Wanaka Media and Publishing, Ipikai Poetry Journal's inaugural 2nd and 3rd edition initiative of the Zimbabwe Poets Society, among others. His work was recently showcased at the World Poetry Slam Championships spoken word video presentations from September 26th to September 30th, 2022 in Brussels, Belgium. He is the current president of the board of directors at ArtSite Incorporated in Canada, which is an artist-run center and gallery for contemporary arts. That was a mouthful. Please welcome Zomkhonto. And you got 15 minutes, brother. Let's hear.
Thank you very much. My name is Zomkhonto Kabatela. I'm from Makokoba, as she said, and a good place for me to begin my story, my Black story, and the collective story that we all share always begins at the feet of my grandmother. Because if you wish to know about my grandmother, she is a grand piano whose keys accompany sopranos of angels. From the tips of their lips into the most secret chambers of heaven, the rhythm carried to the tune of her feet, rising and falling, a tune carried across the sky like a bridal train, whispering incantations of her tribal name. The one used by her ancestors before the world came to know her simply as Esther. I imagine her learning how to answer it. Esther, Esther, Esther. A name she inhabits but cannot spell, which is good as well, because names are spells, and that name, which is not of her culture's own, if it carried the shame of her own, of its own ancestry, it will not get to her or bleed down to me. But I researched it to strip it of any perversions and found that in Persia, her name was Hadassah, and that Esther was a queen. So although she cannot spell it, it is by no accident that royalty is what it means. Esther. I imagine every time she closed her eyes and rehearsed it, Esther, Esther. Because naming an African child is an initiation. It is a ritual that awakens the invisible cord that remains intact after the placenta is severed and neatly pegged into a blanket and buried in the brown earth at the foot of a giant tree. That way, the child's first cry is imprisoned there by that tree's roots, even if the fruit of that tree chooses to gossip about it. And in case demons of the night steal it and make rainstorms out of its purity. I imagine that Esther's birth was attended by midwives with gemstones for eyes, sapphire stones for nipples, and breasts that hang like the pendants of the mountain spirits. Those say to have portals that lead straight to the front steps of every planet known to the universe. She knows wisdom by the feel of its skin. She has run her fingers like a pianist along the spine of time, a spine so vast like that of a matriarch elephant as she moves silently, vast like piano keys made of ebony and ivory, composing the songs that pulse underneath 3 generations of black skin. The royal matriarch from the house of Swazi, Makakul, Tombe, Chwala Minyela, Gojela, Bahlalilinda, Zomkhonto, Dunjwane, Mzila Nhliziyo, Msuthu. Your praise names are the blood that courses in my veins, traveling pathways that raise the fires that bring warmth to my skin. I imagine your shadow follows you religiously and even keeps your secrets intimately, like why you wake up at 4 a.m. to pray for strangers in wars, soldiers in coffins, emaciated children who will never know the love of a grandmother. You're a whirlwind of possibility, Magagula. Your smile is God's favorite memory, Magagula. You are the music that you play, the conductor and the sound, the singer and the audience, an entire population in one human being, the melody to which each morning sings, the soundtrack to the rising sun. Baete Magagula. I always start with my grandmother because to me, is a reason that I find Africa in every opportunity to feel the motherland pulse underneath my bones. And my grandmother is proof of that. And because of that, I always think about my letter to Africa. Because if it was up to me, Africa, if it was up to me, would have declared its existence in a whisper. But our humanity is like loudspeakers, so colorful and loud that the outside world yearned to take more than just pictures. Erected systems that stripped us of ourselves while claiming to hide our nakedness, made us victims of a sickness that severed our connectedness. And as they undressed us, octopus hands patted us down as if we'd stolen our birthright. And that somewhere in the deep pockets of our melanin, they would find graves so dark, so black, like our skin, to bury us in. If it was up to me, each campus point would confess to the biographies lost at gunpoint, give up the totems of each broken slave, surrender each wave that leapt out of the sea to wipe off surnames torn from the bark of trees where countless were hung from tips of their native tongues. Each campus point would confess to the coordinates of those maps that dug furrows etched permanently on our conscience, but silenced by our songs and dances, naked drums scattered across the atlas, echoing different flavors of blackness, dancing to the beat of our humanity, so colorful and loud, way before tongue-in-cheek speeches, from leeches that justified empire's riches, way before tires screeching, midnight lynchings, and wise teachers missing from the classrooms of each generation, only if it was up to me. But oh, pray it is not up to me. I ask tormenting questions. If it was up to me, I might ask, who weaponized my identity? If it was up to me, I might ask, how many college degrees does it take to be free? If it was up to me, I would ask, who holds the master key? But honestly, deep down, all I want to ask is simply, what hand guides the Blue Nile from Ethiopia, Sudan, then Egypt? Is there some database above or below that holds the footprint and glow of the entire Bantu people, whose noses are bridges to the breath of ancient times? I want to ask, do the Khoisan hide medicines that have never been found ever since healers changed surnames and their scepters exchanged hands? Simple questions, as curious as the eyes of those that have dreamed of the motherland and never been, or the African with muscle who idolizes Scarface in a hustle he never wins. If you've ever watched an African child play, you would know that all the artificial intelligence could not compute even a minute fraction of the innocence. We all wish upon a star in a reality that tempers with our galaxy until our universe is the black market of what it used to be. But I still know of some who, if it were up to them, they would invest all of their savings for this craving to be free. Free like the voices of Griot in Mali that showed the secrets of the ancients. The way the hills that surround Kigali in Rwanda carry tea plantations of infinite wonder. Free like arrows from hundreds of the Hadza people in Tanzania that stare elephants in the eyes and wipe away their memory. Free like birds made of soapstone from the Zimbabwe ruins, which fly into the lucid dreams of young men like love letters from the dead. Free to dream the dreams of Miriam Makeba, Patrice Lumumba, Nina Simone, Thomas Sankara, Pilandwandwe, Marcus Garvey, Wangari Maathai, Ya Asantewa, Queen Nzinga, Ken Saro-Wiwa, Joshua Mkabu Nkomo, Winnie Mandela, and all the dreamers combined. And as clear of mind as Dr. Samuel Achilepu, the Nigerian scientist that developed the glasses that see cancer cells, the deep wells of all the aspirations underneath our breasts and our chest, screaming, it's up to us, it's up to us, it's up to us. And because it's up to us, that to me is a legacy I want to pass to my son. And with this letter to my son and all the black boys, I say to you, Ndota Naya, I wish you mountains that stoop down and crumble the tufts of hair on their crown, to create beach sand for the shores that this world will not stumble into and dare to pollute, where the music of ancient flutes is trapped in shells that populate its blanket of pebbles and stones, which when thrown against the surface of the ocean, with each bouncing motion whistle back the secrets of the snails that died inside them, carrying hell on their backs and heaven inside their hearts. Those said to have slowed down deliberately and sacrifice themselves so their shells can become refuge to the songs whose melodies are now known for guiding the bruised hips of lost slave ships back home. My son, Dota Nayam, I wish you to speak bright words the way light was named, with sound in attendance, and that I live long enough for the chance to tell you the story of how light and sound learned to dance together for the first time, trapping the universe in 1 trillion light years of rhythm. I wish that as you whisper your own name, you believe it, that each letter in it is a feather inside the largest wing to ever host the wind, and that when you fly, you're not distracted fighting that wind, but just enjoying the aerial view. My son, I want to take all the insults of this world on your behalf, so that you find half of the world's untruths about Black boys already shelved in a bunker somewhere. I would have walked back and forth through time to collect each falsehood and hold it captive in the underworld, not to burn a single one, but to remind you that another generation will need you to collect the other half. Make sure the collection is complete, then have a bonfire and invite the neighbors, all singing together, screaming, "Fuck the racist." My son, I wish your teenage eyes will take long walks inside the hallways of history, begging to be written, and that those that died gritting their teeth while holding on to olive branches can see you plant seeds and be proud. And that seeing you hunger to know more disarms their spirits and charms them into forgiving the trees from which the spears that dug into their chest were carved. Ndondanayam, my son, I wish you the rarest form of love, the one that plays catch with itself, throwing boomerang kisses at the sky, knowing the love will come back glowing with the remnants of dying stars, and that each tiny sparkle of those dying stars will hustle its way back into the sky and become a fully blown sun. My son, I want you to remember that the hourglass will always be a desert full of seconds, taken away until you're brave enough to shatter that glass and find water. Because I wish you water to flow towards the future, like hip hop, like poetry. I wish you an elephant's memory so that you remember to forget what they did to me. Write that deed to ancestry. But more than anything, my son, I want you to remember that you are royalty. Baye! Zomkhonto, Kabatela, Mzilangata, Mbangazita. And to remind myself of the beautiful daughters, the beautiful mothers, the grandmothers, that matriarchal energy and that energy center. I want to remember my friend's 9-year-old daughter, Amani. I wrote this on her birthday, and this one is my letter through her about beautiful Black girls. Your father said, I should write you a poem with feathers in mind, meant to be stitched together by time into the most beautiful bird the forest could ever find. And the wonderful thing is, you get to choose whatever color this bird might be. Take your time. Because this world loves to choose colors for Black girls, right down to their favorite dress, as if someone chose to second guess if they need to be blessed, not knowing that the ends of their souls are rainbows, and that heaven still uses those ends as ribbons to tie presents for the most well-behaved of angels. Amani. Amani in Arabic means wish. Amani in Swahili means peace. So I wish you peace. And as parents, we always hope that our children do not learn too young why they need peace. But even then, I pray that if the world ever made you search for a peace of mind, that you remember to think only of your name, and that your mind will recognize its echo and remain calm, remain peaceful. Your father said I should write a poem made of diamond-crusted wings, and to tell you that the worst that you can do is make eagles blind when you take to the sky, but that you do not be afraid to fly, shine. Because this poem was written with feathers in mind, meant to be stitched together into the most beautiful bird that the forest could ever find. And the wonderful thing is, that you get to choose its morning song. Take your time. Because this world loves to choose songs for Black girls, as if their ears cannot make out for themselves the ebony skin of melody, as if they haven't been the fortune tellers of the greatest dances to ever trap the human body and spirit. I say, create your own music, Amani. Find your dance floor. and own it. Become the lyrics to the song of your own destiny. Amani. Your name means wish in Arabic and peace in Swahili. As you blow out your candles today, I wish your greatest wish, the light of day. May your dreams find the peace of mind to come true. May you shine so bright that light accidentally flows into the world around you, brightening your day, brightening our day. Happy birthday to you and everyone who has a birthday this year. Zomkhonto Gabatel, Mzilangat, Mbangazit. Thank you.
Y'all unmute your mics and give it up for that man. Yes.
Hell yes.
Wow.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so
You're
much.
amazing.
Wow.
Beautiful,
Blew me
beautiful.
away. Absolutely mesmerizing. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And if you can, please put your PayPal or yours. I was going to say Snapchat. You see, I'm on demon time, but your Cash App in the chat there. And guys, you know, poets supporting poets. You know, go in there, throw them a couple dollars, buy them a coffee, buy them a tank of gas. Obviously, we're not. You know, if we were at a bar or something, we would have had a cover charge, but we don't. So just throw them a couple dollars. Don't feel like, you know, even if it's only $2, every little bit helps. So if you can donate, buy a book, buy, you know, support these artists that we have here. And, you know, I'm also going to throw myself in there. I'm going to put my website on there so you guys can support me too. I mean, I poet a little bit, you know, I'm no Zomkhonto or AJ Houston, but, you know, I do a little. So if you want to try to support, you can do that as well. So I'll throw my stuff in there later in the night. That being said, we're going to move on to the myth, the man, the legend, AJ Houston. Like, I want to be this man when I grow up. I know it's not possible, but if I could, I would. Author of 10 books. He's got his trilogy of Black out right now. He just put out the last book of Black, but he also has Steel Black and the first book of Black. And he's also going on tour for that. So, you know, he's going to put his Cash App and stuff in there. Let's get him on tour. Let's make sure he's got enough gas money to get back home. And buy a book if you can. Buy a book. It's going to be a great trilogy. Buy one, buy all three, buy all 10. But yeah, great poets. And thank you for the first round. Let's get into AJ, and then if everybody's down, we'll do another round of open mic.
What's up? What's up? How y'all doing, man? Shaki G, I apologize. I apologize for being tardy. I'm saying I've been running all day trying to do some of everything all at one time. And Miss Betty called me. I'm like, that's what I was trying to remember. Gosh, so I'm here. I apologize. Let me get to work. Like she said, I have this. I just published my 10th book. The 10th book is The Lost Book of Black. Hardcover only. It's 496 pages of whatever you can imagine. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna do something from the trilogy for this set. I'm gonna start with the first in the Black Book of Black. And there's a short story. I wrote the Black Book of Black while I was working on a book called What If There Were No Titles, and it's 416 pages too, so it's big. But it's a white book with white pages, but I wrote a poem called This Is What Happens When You Bootleg Freedom, and I didn't think it would fit in that book, so I had to create something specifically for that particular book. And every poem that came to me, it came for me. So all 3 books are Black books with Black pages. So first poem on the Black Book of Black is When My Ancestors Come. Some mornings, you won't feel as though the day deserves your attention. No reveille, you will not be welcomed. Maybe fighting for daylight is the perfect beginning. You gotta start somewhere, earn your keep. Sitting on the birthday is not a given. See, we've had enough free breaths to date. This nigga, he ain't got no more jobble in his voice. Fuck, King, ain't got no more jobble in his voice, man. I'm done. Let me see. I'm starting over. Some mornings you won't feel as though the day deserves your attention. No reveille, you will not be welcome. Maybe fighting for daylight is the perfect beginning. You gotta start somewhere, earn your keep. Seeing the birthday is not a given. You've had enough free breaths to date. This nigga here ain't got no more jovial in his voice. Fuck jovial, can't laugh at your funny. Most often you only laughing to keep from crying. I'm beginning to believe like Harriet. She said she would have freed thousands more slaves if they only knew they were slaves. And I see you thinking walking free means you got some free. There's never been, nor will there ever be a line passing out some free or free for the taking. You got to sacrifice something. The noose of knowledge must be too tight, choking out your common sense. I heard the chains rattling your throat. See the cage and auction block you keep balancing your faith on. If you think you will someday stumble upon the truth, you better fall quick, because ain't no truth here unless you brought it with you. You can't stay, got somewhere else to be. All the rights and freedoms others died for are disappearing by the Constitution full. See this? This ain't poetry, this is life. And you think every time I speak about history, everything is a slave. You in America constantly fooling yourselves, keep telling the same lie till it's easy to swallow, till it tastes like truth. You can't see the picture while enjoying the pixels so gracefully colored in crayon, stepping back to get better. If you never cross your mind, see, I wish you had picked some cotton. I wish you knew how long it took for open lashes on your bare back to heal, when it's the hanging or still helpless, watching the angry mad mob drag your wife, son, daughter, husband away, knowing ain't no coming back. When these rights are gone, they ain't coming back. We didn't arrive here by choice and we still struggle to survive. See that hush in your mouth? It ain't survival. You've been frightened quiet. Too scared to open your mouth. See, there's always silence before a hanging, before a murder, before the coroner arrives. I can hear your heartbeat from here, hoping you know when us is listening, afraid them satellites will spot you in the crowd, so you can't fight sitting down. Can't punch with your hands in your pocket with no pen in your hand, with no paper to write on. You patiently thinking this is just your war, then whose is it if you don't fight for you? There's a long list of excuses we remember from textbooks years ago. Don't quite know when we got them, but we got them and we use them way too often. You may think this day can make it without you. It can, but you won't survive to dusk. See, you're probably thinking, it's just another slave. Like I'm not trying to help you, help me, help us. You got to do more than march against murder. Signs won't stop the killings, posting camaraderie, won't change the jail sentence, won't even get the murders, extended vacations canceled. If this is just another slave woman, I think I just keep reading until the ashes come to life, until my ancestors come home. I bet they got some shit to say about this. They will see you consciously unconscious. Spitting bullshit, trying to sell some t-shirts, talking about, I can't breathe, forgetting this system has been choking our ass for as long as we've been here. We've always mattered to us. Ain't no slogan for fighting, ain't no song gonna make us dance better. This ain't no ballroom, it's a slaughterhouse. They killing in these streets. And you sitting in the comfort of your house. I wish my ancestors would come, set fire to the alarm clock in your bones so you could wake the fuck up and stop being so consciously unconscious. See, if this is the slave poem, I think we ought to be screaming in unison. We should all know the words by now before we all be wearing chains again, singing old Negro spirituals, but the course of which are overcome and poetry been used, singing about how we gonna get us some free. Second poem is coming out of the second book, Still Black. And I like this poem, and I wrote it. I wasn't even an alien, I'm trying to do this. Yeah. Title of this poem is Black Girl. Been told, black man ain't supposed to write no black girl poem. Ain't supposed to know them troubles that followed them from way back ever since Massa saw that ass naked on them auction blocks. White man been chasing that black girl magic, been taking it without permission, been stealing black girls since they made cars with cranks in the front. Every black man knows how trouble's been falling black girls since they birthed. Since they learned to walk, since they've been black since Africa, since civilization got here. God should have created black girls first. Maybe then this world wouldn't be so cruel, so angry at black men, so jealous of that black girl magic they're born with. Black man been knowing. Black man been knowing he's supposed to be protecting black girls. Some of them had bad learning, thinking they God, thinking black girls supposed to do what they say just because their hands bigger. They ain't supposed to use them hands as weapons. They're bigger because God knows how this shit was gonna go down, how they gonna steal us, how they gonna separate us when we arrive, how they gonna take our clothes, make us stand bare ass naked, knew they gonna chain us together, place us on them blocks, put us up for sale like cattle, like property, like we ain't really people or persons. Temptation was in the plane. He knew their hearts was black. Can't control himself when black beauty is sitting there, ain't his. Don't belong to nobody. Don't belong to nobody. Black girls ain't supposed to belong to nobody. Why do you think they got that magic? They should be able to pick who they give it to. Ain't no black man supposed to write no black girl poem. Ain't supposed to know them troubles that follow them from way back. Black men supposed to be protectors. That's why their hands bigger. Why them shoulders a little wider. Why their feet bigger. Supposed to use that body to stand in front, them hands to move troubles aside. Ain't no black girl got time for troubles. How she gonna build all that magic God blessed her with if she got to deal with troubles by herself? I've been told ain't no black man supposed to write no black girl poem. She got that magic all by herself. Ain't got a shirt if she don't want to. Ain't got a shirt if she don't want to. Let's just protect them. Stop all this complaining, because God is the one give black girls all that magic, not us. Now I'm gonna read some pieces from the new book, The Lost Book of Black. It's 496 pages, black book, black pages, hardcover only. Writing for wellness. There are times I crowded room myself. Couldn't understand how peer pressure forces lips into agreement. Even when it's just you, I'm okay can be the song you never wanted to hear your voice join in perfect harmony. What if I decided to unlock the closet door, unshackle emotions my community says black men have no right to share? What if I white flagged myself, gave up standing guard, let go of centuries of regret for not being able to let go? Some of the bones buried on plantations and cotton and tobacco fields are still singing and shouting. I hear the screams in my slumber. There are times I seal the lips of quiet, loud refuses to listen to. I admit these restraints are ages old. Maybe they're not aware of their purpose. Maybe they, for whatever reason, have been forced to perform a duty against their will. Who knew there would be rules to being a black man, being in love and hurt and broken? Who knew broken was the language black men were taught to forget its translation? I have bones that shake out of habit. Knees refusing to bend, praying with bowed head, too reminiscent of begging, of being forced into servitude in past lives. We black men can't cheer properly, afraid of dehydration. Time learned us well. We would be better off keeping our water to ourselves. We have discovered since slavery, black men have gained favor with troubles, with storms. Conflicts tend to find us where ununited we stand. Yes, we truly be American, red, white, and blue back, skin waving as the new century finds prison plantation orange designated our favorite color. There are more of us in cells, stripes, body bags, beautifully decorated boxes than PTA meetings. Why are there references to drums when black men are subtracted from family? For whatever reason, it's deadbeat, Conga's missing the skin. Djembes with no hole in the bottom, a set of drums with no drumsticks, only bones of lost souls to hit snares. Over time, there's a lesson we should have learned from trees. We should know better than to keep reaching out open palm like branches. Can't forget how they were taken advantage of. I just know they couldn't be in solidarity with ropes. We should have studied roots, learned how to stand anchored even when lumberjacks come to chop down your dreams and steal your family. There must be classes on leaves, how seasons work, how coming of age is the story of letting go, of the ability to return in time. If you listen close, America's hidden messages about the home we never knew. We have failed in our ability to discuss the missing parts of us. It is as if we were not meant to find ourselves. We were not supposed to discover. We were whole before the fists, before the signatures of founders. We are whole after the fist remains an echo, representing the history of our days spent in their glory. Guess the great again was glory for them, Ku Klux Klan, Confederate flag and all. There are pages of American history, but where the only thing black are the words typed by writers who deleted us on purpose. How did we become a color? When did color hold enough space for an entire race to fit? Who agreed to making color a nationality? African-American can be a white man gaining American citizenship. Doesn't necessarily claim us all. Don't know how I feel about being Negro or colored. There are terms used in this country that never fit comfortable on my skin. I would never wear, even though it was tailor-made for this body. There are times I purposely ripped the quiet from my throat, needing to share the loud those before me were persecuted for attempting to let go. I have noises in my fingers, in my hands, in my head of which I cannot claim ownership. There are days I sit in solitude, waiting for the message. Time is held in bondage since the beginning, since the garden, before the ship Jesus of Lubbock, before settlers, before the snake and the apple, before the first mountaintop, before tablets were broken, before the flood, before the belly of the whale, before the apocrypha was deemed unacceptable. There are days I sit in all the noise my ancestors wanted you to hear. Fingers at the ready, finding it impossible to convert the language I never learned into this stolen one. The one I'm still maneuvering my tongue around, There are messages in quiet noise will not let you write. There are messages in quiet noise will not let you write. I'm just a pen full of thoughts pages are afraid of. The book no one wants to read. The song melodies back away from. I'm the boy my grandmother prayed for. The son my father will be proud of, carrying the same dream my mother gifted me at birth, wearing the name my grandfather wore until his last breath. I'm the nightmare America redlined public schools to keep quiet. I'm the silence, surrounded by the sound of djembes my ancestors drum in the afterlife. I'm the echo of a voice from a smoldering bush, the last stroke of a pen. I am what and who my ancestors prayed to the heavens I'd be, the voice in the calm, the rage in the wind, the peace when struggle arrives uninvited. I'm the class lesson search abandoned buildings. Defiant, I'm the reason for the let there be. I learned from trees, my roots grow deep. I pray we find comfort. In America, for Black men, there will always be storms. And I think I'll read Conversations with Heaven. Oh yeah, and like Jane said, every morning at 7:07 a.m. Pacific, I do a live, we do a full show, original quote, original poem, and just have a conversation. We've talked about everything. So at 7:07 is us practicing to be on purpose. And I apologize for being late to your show. When I've been practicing for 422 days to be on purpose. Okay, Conversations with Heaven. If prayers could speak, these hands would not need to participate. Would not be greeting each other with such aggression, would not be sweaty, would not reach down as far as they can, begging knees to join a private session. I keep hearing my elders say, praying is a full body activity, even when no words are used. When it's just the dancing, just the jumping and the screaming, we close our eyes and bow our heads to the four winds because the address is unknown. The first thing I would ask heaven, do not let my boys watch the replay of hate. All them Confederates and Klan them looting the Capitol, prancing back and forth, high-fiving Confederate flags. See, hate back in business, back popular, like when President Wilson praised the first breath of a nation, claimed it's like writing history with lightning. Not that hate is not an American citizen, did not captain the first vessel, capture the first batch of Africans for practice with the king, first batch of niggas for free labor in the fields, from swinging from the trees. I would not tell them, hate graduated magna cum laude from every American university. Hate has been president at least 44 of the 46 chances we've been trying to get this shit right. If prayers could speak, I would rid myself of these cuts and scars on my tongues from them prayers unanswered, on my knees from years demanding at least the angels listen. Been trying to get heaven's attention since Emmett, since Trayvon, since Huey, since they been killing niggas wearing Klan white or police blue with no sign of let up or quit. If prayers could speak, I would whisper. I would whisper in the ears of each one of my sons. You see, I've been hoping. I keep praying you didn't watch when America threatened America, when a Black police was not the only nigga protecting the Capitol, being chased, spit on, despised, sent running through the building for his life. When niggas was not the only color invited to the gallows constructed on Capitol property. I would tell my sons, it's hard enough to remember, to keep your head down, to not speak up when an officer calls you boy, calls you nigga, claim this can't be your car, this ain't your neighborhood, your parents don't live here. I pray you know the hush. I pray you know the hush when demanded you get out of your vehicle. They got the okay to shoot. They got the okay to shoot if you're Black, if you look threatening, if you're past puberty, if you sound educated, look like you might know some shit, look like you've been attending all your classes in high school, been taking college courses, might be a father, somebody's son, somebody's grandfather. I hope you know why they stopped you. They stop you because the only violation they can ticket you for is nigga driving, nigga breathing, nigga sitting, nigga standing upright. If prayers could speak, I would ask, why the clouds over my house look backed up? Look like there's a backlog of pain, of tears. Why the sky keep answering, ain't nobody home in thunder? I would ask, how come niggas keep singing about lifting all these voices when can't nobody breathe? Keep looking for some swing low, a new Moses over rock, searching for a river to wade in, searching for a train or some boxcars underground, for some help, as if we still singing old Negro spirituals. We still Negroes, still plantation living, still wearing chains, still answering to massa. If prayers could speak, I would take my time. I don't believe angels understand nigga English unless we slow it down. They might be American, might have that systematic up there too. Ain't nobody gone and come back and tell us nothing. If prayers could speak, I would just keep praying like my mama told me. Like it don't matter. Like it don't matter if they listen or not. Like you gonna hear me eventually, like Jacob, I ain't gonna quit till you bless me. Like this bush ought to be burning by now. Like these rocks ain't gonna speak for me. If prayers could speak, I would tell my voice to grow a set of hands, put them together and speak for itself. Can I do a short love poem? So I can change the flavor. Okay,
Yes, you can.
this is really my shortest love poem. It's called For Me to You. It says For Me to You. What does it say? Man, that poem impressed and speak. That does something to me. So I gotta sit down. I once wrote a poem on your vertebrae. Only I can translate. It was written in the language our forefathers lost. I once wrote an orchestra in the nape of your neck. No one else knows the instruments, so they can play it if you pay them to. I left my fingerprints on the inside of your cells, so even if you don't call, your body will. See, you are my poem, not that I wrote you, but I was given the instructions to your thoughts. So even when I'm thinking, man, I'm the ghost hunting the very place you stand in. See, once I sing a lullaby to your dreams, and every night your dreams tap me on the shoulders, wanting to be rocked to sleep. Your heart stops on purpose, knowing these palms are the paddles to keep love beating. I only believe you descended straight from heaven because the last etchings in history of anyone ever tasting anything so sweet was when Ezekiel was presented with the scroll. Even your legs. Think I'm Moses. See, you are my poem, not that I wrote you. I can never find ink to color your smile. Paper as smooth as your skin, words even full potential I see in your eyes, your arms. Your arms told me we were the perfect embrace. God, I wish I had wrote you. And thank y'all for listening. I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for listening, man. And definitely, if you want to book DM me, I have the Black Trilogy available. But thank you, Shaki, man. I tell you, man, Shaki, you're one of my new favorite poets for real. And I thank you. I thank you for the invite. And I really apologize for being late. I've had so much on my plate these last couple of days because I just thought about the Black Trilogy tour recently, and I'm finna drive from Las Vegas to North Carolina. And that's like 2,324 miles.
Jeez.
So, but I'm gonna make a tour out of it. I want to stop some places, the Hanging Museum in Alabama, stop and do 2707 with my mom. I'm trying to make it, make it worthwhile. But thank you, Shaka G, and thank everybody for listening. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming through, and both of you blew me away. Both amazing, both powerful. Thank you so much.
That was great.
That's how you celebrate Black history, right there.
Woo!
That was
Yes.
an amazing listen. Yeah, those were powerful poems, and the delivery was just so energetic. I love that.
Oh man, both of
So
you.
inspiring. So inspiring.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Zomkhonto,
sharing
man.
those with us.
No, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate it.
Respect. Yeah, much respect. So great to meet you. Much love.
Yeah. Again, if you're still in the room, they both put their PayPal or Cash App in the chat. If you're able to, even if it's just $2, $1, whatever you got, send them, or buy a book. Let's get AJ on his trip, and let's get them both some cash, get some coffee and all that. And I appreciate both of you coming through. And reading. I know I said we would do another round, but it looks like almost everyone left. So if you guys could drop your Cash App and PayPals again, just to make sure that, if they want to get it to you, they can get it to you. Jane, I know you said if there was a round 2, you would read again. I only have you and Nemo in the room. Did you want to do another one? Nemo, did you want to read one?
I'll read one just because you've been educating people all night, and I wrote this one a while ago, and
All right.
I think we'll continue with the education tonight.
All right.
So this is a piece called Memorial Day. On Memorial Day, we honor veterans of all wars, but its origins are in America's uncivil core. Many American towns claim the birthplace of Memorial Day, but this is what the truth sayers have to say. In 1866, women laid flowers on soldiers' unknown graves. But in 1865, the Civil War in American memory was started by freed slaves. Along with white missionaries, they honored our history. Held at a former plantation's racetrack, Confederates held captured Union soldiers in prison camps. Many died and were buried in unmarked mass graves. Those who honored them first were freed Black slaves. They reorganized the graves into neatly dressed rows with a tall white fence. They were gently enclosed. Flowers of joy were planted all around to honor the fallen placed in the ground. On the archway, Martyrs of the Race Course was printed in bold. The names of unknown heroes were told. About 10,000 people gathered to pay tribute to the fallen. Newly freed slaves and colored troops honored those who fought for freedom. 3,000 Black children holding roses walked the track, while adults from aid societies followed their path. Pastors delivered sermons, and spirituals were sung. It was a day of joy and remembrance for everyone. A procession of friends and mourners like never seen before. The gravesite became a sea of flower decor. Tears of joy and love were shed that day as they gave birth to America's Memorial Day. But this is definitely not a truth white historians will ever say. Peace, y'all.
Jane spoken
you.
word.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. What a night. It's been amazing, Shucky. You put such an amazing show together. Holy shit. Dope.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank them for agreeing to come. Nemo, did you have something that you wanted to share tonight?
I think I'm just here to listen tonight. It's been
Okay.
amazing.
Okay.
Really incredible.
Alrighty, guys. Well, again, happy Black History Month. Every day is Black History. Get out there and celebrate you. Every day that you wake up, every breath you take, celebrate you. And again, thank you guys for coming through. I guess I'm gonna let everyone go. I won't hold you hostage. All right. Have a good night. There is a Word is Right open mic tomorrow night with Jeff Taylor and Namu. Will be
Oh no! Oh no!
Nemo's
Namu.
feeling like me. They forgot something.
I know he thought he did too, but no, it's Namu. Both great. So if you guys get a chance, definitely come through. Otherwise, have a great night. Peace, love, and blessings.
Thank you so much.
Stay
Have an
inspired,
excellent night.
everyone.
Okay, peace.
Peace.